top of the A, top of the day, top of the kings. And not to brag, the chain's expensive, a lot for the ring. Been through a lot, even had to cop a squat in the bing. But that's okay, cause I came home and I hopped in that thing. And dead or alive, that's just the way the streets leave you. It's the difference between the streets and street legal.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Street Legal. Tonight I am here. This is Bob Macedonio, as you're probably all aware and getting bored up already. But I'm here with my co-host, Link, and we have our special guest, good friend, lifelong gentleman that I've known for many, many, many years. Knowledge, a product of Long Island, and I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Always good to see you. Always good to see you.
Likewise. Lifelong friend. We stayed up all night in certain places we don't want to talk about, but literally, lifelong friend.
You know, he has been as big of a supporter as mine as I have been of his over the years. We met when he was a teenager, and, you know, God willing, we've helped each other through bad times and good times, and I appreciate him coming out tonight. Tonight's topic, you know, and I bring Link and Knowledge together because both of these gentlemen I respect, you know, from where they come from in their communities and what they're doing now to make themselves better. Both homeowners, both have great jobs working, and they actually advise and try to help the younger generation stay out of situations that they've both been in. So tonight's topic is, what responsibility do we owe to ourselves, our families, and our communities to rise above unfortunate and adverse situations and become a better person, and not rely upon the government or the system to make us a better person or help us and just constantly come up with excuses. So that's our topic tonight. We appreciate anybody calling in with any stories or any advice they may have. 631-833-0000, and I'll turn over to Link. Link, this is a topic you and I have discussed, and people at some point in time have to take a good hard look in the mirror and stop blaming somebody else for why they're where. I mean,
all right. Well, I look at it like this. We have roles as adults now, right? And as kids, we could have got involved in any number of different things. But as adults, you're wiser, you know more, you've gone through more things. These things they mean more to you now, and you have a different insight, right? And with that insight comes a different sense of responsibility and a different set of responsibilities. So I think that as far as what we owe to our community is to start from where the problems are rooted at, right? With the children, which is like, it's hard to take a misguided person and bring them back to a sense of what on track looks like. But it's so much easier to take that person before they get to that track and lead them on a path that they can avoid all of those different downfalls. The problem in our community, as far as I was concerned, I don't know if Knowledge was the same for you, was that lack of leadership, that lack of guidance, not having that guy in the house to be like that role model, him being gone, you know what I mean? Which left us susceptible to different things, different dynamics. Being older, being wiser, having seen more, having gone through things now, I understand my role a lot more, you know? And my role is to try and fill in for that guy who may not be at the house for some young man. You know what I mean? That is my role.
I think we people look towards the system, quote unquote system. That's what we had a doctor on. You know, can the system do to help me when I get better out? We'd like to prevent people from getting into the system.
Exactly.
Like, what do we have to do, Knowledge, to get people so they're not in the system, so they're not relying upon the government to train me, to educate me, to give them the better chance in life.
Well, you know, before I get there, you two got a good chemistry, man. You're both articulate and witty. It's kind of intimidating to be here. It's kind of
appreciate
vocabulary sport.
Listen, you didn't get the name Knowledge for nothing, okay?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
It doesn't come from
my philosophy. It might differ a little bit because I always felt like social class always affect education efficiency.
Opportunities are there for everybody. It's just, I think the social class, you may have a generation or two in the social class that was educated, that is doing better, that can teach to their kids. But the opportunity is there for all of us. You just have to have that role model in the minority communities to tell these kids, this is available to you. You need to take advantage of that. And that's what I think is lacking.
So we have different structures that are set up for that, right? But and this is like to play devil's advocate a little bit here. For what it is that you said, that is true. Like that social economic structure that's set up is a preventative measure when it comes to having a total outcome of what we consider to be successful population from where it is that we see things happening at, right? Where we see crime stemming from, right? Now, something we could do to counteract that would be to simply put back what they took away. You know what I mean? Like we used to have these places where you could go, these youth centers. We used to have what's called latchkey kids, where when your parents was at work, when you got home from school, you still could come to this community center and like and work it
Learn,
out,
and
learn
yeah.
some things,
And stay off the streets.
yeah, interact socially with other people who were not involved in that life. And if we put some of those things back, like you had David Bullard. Shout out to David Bullard, rest in peace. You was like a hero. The park name, the Winans Park is named after him.
Yeah,
Like a true hero, the Winans. If we could put back what it was that he started, like some of those structures, we put those back in place, and it's easier to combat people initiated into gangs and all of these different things. So we have something to offer them. What we gonna offer them right now? You know, like what can you offer them?
You have to offer opportunities. People are looking for opportunity. I don't think
Right.
nobody wants to be on the streets. Nobody wants to be out there selling drugs. That life, as I'm practicing law for 30 years, ends in two places: dead or in jail. We
Yeah.
had this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know, unfortunately, both of you are alive. Fortunately, both of you are alive, but unfortunately, both of you have been in jail. So, and neither one of you want to go back. So, what do we need to do so the next generation doesn't have to make the mistakes you guys made and knows the opportunities out there?
Well, the environment has to change. So environment always created the conditioning on how things grow. You know what I mean? And in a desert environment, you might have 25 species of plants and shrubs, but in the Amazon, you might have 80,000.
Correct.
We as people that make it out of this demographic, we have to change the environment of things for people to grow in the environment. You see what
I
I'm saying?
think we could
Agreed.
realize now that the politics is not going to change.
No.
Whatever your political flavor is, Democrat, Republican, conservative,
Yeah. But this is
they're
street
there to
politics
tell
we're
you.
talking
They're
about.
there
We're
to
not
tell you
talking
what you want to hear. So the money they're throwing at it is never going to fix the problem.
Yeah,
Right.
you
The problem has
can't
to be
rely
fixed
on-
from the community.
We can't rely on them to change
Correct.
for us, you know.
And-
But sometimes people, after they finish their degrees and their post grad, they don't come back into the ghettos to come teach people how to make it out of the ghettos. They
Right.
don't bring their crap
Right.
back there. So you need more people like that
Right.
that can
Come
actually
back.
make it out to come back. They get caught
Yeah.
up in their maybe they're paying off their school loans or their 30-year mortgage.
Just life, yeah, just life catching.
So
what
got
do you-
into their wife. So basically, they don't come into the ghettos to where all the children is at and say,
that
yo,
need that.
yeah, they need the education.
Right.
So we getting it from the people that we see, the people that's closer to us, that's pulling up
Right.
in the Benzes, and at the end of the day, their environment taught them. So it might have
Right.
been something else that we caught. But if you have people that come back into that demographic and bring back other ways that you can get money, that's besides the way that we normally see. Maybe
So
a
you think it would be a
CDL
good idea
course.
if we could have people come together and form mentoring programs? So you're getting the kids in high school.
Definitely what we want to
That's
do.
a good topic because
And all the high schools should have it. If you offer a mentoring program, you have a successful business person that was from that community that goes back and shows the kids, listen, I was from
right.
this neighborhood, lived on this street. I came from the same background where you are right now. You don't have to stay here. This is
Nah,
what
that's
I'm
true,
doing.
That's true. In all honesty, I done been on blocks from Bourne and Bainbridge to Straight Path and Booker. And my brother right here, after, many years of being with him, he actually helped me form the first corporation in Washington, so Fox Taxi. That was B.O.B.
Yeah.
that helped me,
Yeah, I remember that.
R.I.P. Damian Higgins, my other brother,
Yeah.
Fox. Who died, but yeah, basically, you want to take opportunities like that to come back into the neighborhoods and be able to teach people how
Right.
to do more than just what
Right.
we normally know how to do in the streets.
Because
Yeah.
the colleges all have it. The alumni associations, they call. They have alumni that come back, and there's always a giant network. But like
Right.
you said, the minority neighborhoods seem to lack that role model or structure to reach out to get them out of that cycle.
We need
You
to
take-
build the nutrients back. Like
You
the
take
Amazon,
somebody,
the
yeah, you take
species.
somebody who made it out, right?
Take someone made it out.
And you look at what they had to go through to make it to where they was, like, and there's a serious sickness and a disease that happens in the minority neighborhoods that I visited, that I'm from, that I frequent, and that sickness is we don't allow ourselves to support the efforts of somebody else. We won't do what it takes to push them. Like we just
You make it out, and you don't want to look back.
because you're so mad at the lack of support that you had on your way to where you're going, right? So you almost like you develop an almost like F them attitude, right? And it's messed up because at the same time the situation never gets fixed, right? The illness grows more and more, and then like the hatred even for maybe you for being somewhat successful has grown more. So you honestly haven't done anything except feed the problem. So my thing is, what you have to do, like regardless of what it is that you had to, what steps you took to get where you was going, I believe that once you do get there, you got to set your resentments and all those different things aside. Enjoy the fact,
because you're never going to be
enjoy
at
the
peace.
fact that you've made some path to success, and then you'll be able to come back and talk to these people with some sensibility about you without being angered the first time they don't hear you, because you got to remember, success comes with so many different avenues that you have to travel to get there, so many failures, and they don't have those experiences. So they may fall in front of you, stumble a couple of times, and you, instead of being frustrated, you know, you got to be a little bit more patient with people, because they lack those experiences that you're familiar with.
And it's also defining what success is. Like when you go into different neighborhoods,
right?
What is successful to you? You know, some people.
Sometimes you might have to adjust.
Some success is
you might
like
talk to a
make
street
it out
cat on
alive.
the street. Success might be not to be looted. It might be. It might be. What can I say? No, it might be females, or sex and money, or a chain or something like that. And then you might go into an affluent community and be like, success is having a family, or success is owning my home and being able to raise and put other people on our back. We develop in our environment a selfish attitude, you know what I mean? Where we just care about our own needs and our own hormones.
Right.
But really, the core aspect is you really supposed to be about
your
family, woman, and be about raising a kid and finding the right woman, which is also an environment, substance, finding a female with good nutrients and substance to bear seed and have fruitful life.
Right.
So we not really taught that too much. So it takes people like that, like 5%ers and people like that to come back into the community and say, hey, we stand for a family.
Let's teach family,
it take businessmen to come back in the community and say, hey, you can start up a S Corp or a LLC yourself.
Right.
Or kind of people like B.O.B. who's a few in the neighborhood.
You can have your own
have him do it for you.
You can have your own landscaping company. You can have the body shop, or you don't have to rely upon someone else to do it.
But that's why I feel like on behalf of Street Legal, we gonna take one of your colleagues and we're gonna pay for a seminar for people that that subscribe to Street Legal. People that's actually listening right now. If you want to call up or
call in 833-0000.
A free seminar. Free is the key word.
Free is the key word.
That means all you gotta do is show up, and then we'll teach you how to start your own non-profit organizations.
Right. LLC.
Knowledge link there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Street Legal is also, we discussed tonight, we will be starting up a mentoring program for some of the underprivileged neighborhoods, so people can see what it's like to be in a law firm, go to the court system on the proper side, not the defendant side.
Right. Get a different experience.
Because it's really about change. It's about, like, a lot of people talk, but B.O.B. and brothers like that, we don't come and implement change.
Facts.
If somebody say, listen, man, maybe we should give away an iPhone. I say, nah, maybe we should mentor some of these people where it really need to be addressed at, and the core value. Because they really don't know. In the Project Ventures, they might teach you how, or in the Project Always, they might teach you how to smoke weed and drink 40s. When you as a young youth, but they don't come back and they be like, yo, listen, man, once you start a little corporation and see how the money's moving around you, they don't teach things like that. It take people that know things like that, like I was saying before, to come back and teach people things like that. You gotta have a better environment to create an environment.
So if you're listening out there, we need role models. We need people that have
call that number on your screen.
Rose above their unfortunate circumstances and are comfortable doing well in their life now and want to come back and start showing the other individuals opportunities that are out there.
And we need that. And just no brag, none of that. But I'm on my 6th LLC right now, number 6 for businesses that I've started. I'm pretty familiar with the process, and what I'm not familiar with, I do have people in place that can go ahead and help you finish out whatever it is that you want to start on for your LLC. So literally, there's no excuse. And me and my brother Knowledge, he's also offering to put up his time along with one of Bob's colleagues, so we can sit down and get you set up with your own either non-for-profit or your own LLC, your business. Because what I want to offer is opportunity. Like today, I went to work with one of my mans, right? And I was able to hire my mans. And to be in that position is to me, that's success, right? Like success is I don't got to worry about my kid being left a job because I'm going to leave my kids' businesses. Yeah. To me, that's success. What everybody idea of success may be different, right? But I'm also strong on that family unit. I'm with that. And I just feel like what they saying is people that do find a way to get through it do got to come back. We got a sense of responsibility to our neighborhood. We got a sense of responsibility to our community. And
also to our own children. I think every generation likes to see their child do a little better than they have.
Absolutely.
You have to, in order to get to that point, you have to provide them the opportunity, the knowledge, the forevision to do that.
Right. Platform skills.
Unfortunately, today in these underprivileged neighborhoods, they're growing up with a defeated attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no hope.
Yeah.
It's
Hopeless, man.
despair and hopelessness. You need to take that away because that then leads to the criminal world.
Right. They're ready to
Because
die
that's
over something
easy.
they haven't lived.
It's easy to go out and commit crimes. It's easier to do that than it is to go to college, to get your education, to go to work 9 to 5. But in the long run, it doesn't pay.
So what do you think?
I always thought poverty breeds crime in our
course.
community.
It's
I don't
important.
really see bad people.
The number
like
one
that, you know what I mean?
number one reason for crime is economics of poverty.
Right.
So hold on, we got our first caller in tonight. So
Okay,
just
let's go.
hold on. Okay, we're just on hold 1 second. But yeah, the number one reason for crime is economics of poverty, and like knowledge
You
just said.
can't wait for the government to do it.
You can't wait
you
for the
said
government
before
to do it.
in the
Right.
last podcast, if recidivism rate is 76%, so waiting on them to do it, they might be slow to get to
It's not
it.
gonna happen.
It might have to be you. It might have to
Yeah.
be you. So
I want y'all to know for everything the family rate, like people being raised with both parents in the house.
Yeah.
That is up for the first time in 30 years.
Good.
And if you think about the 30 years, what happened in the last 30 years and the war that we fought in the last 30 years is what had a direct impact on how many parents you had in your home.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the drug war.
The drug war, yeah.
Right? Now that drug
yeah,
war
yeah,
really
yeah.
had a direct impact on how many parents you had in your home.
Yeah,
And now that
crack
that drug
epidemic.
war is like, the crack epidemic, now that that's coming to like a halt, you're starting to see the results of it. Like, people were not choosing not to be home with their families. They were like,
Well,
sick.
I think
It
the
was
state has
addictive.
actually realized that too with the changing of the quote unquote Rockefeller drug laws. They were so
Right.
heinous. So you had
Right.
people going away for life for
yeah,
Something that
small
came
amounts
in
of
the
drugs.
candy
trying to
dish.
make
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
Right, came in the candy dish. They're going to jail forever for that.
correct. Because thank God that's that changed.
But the crazy thing about the philosophy, and I hate to go back into this, B.O.B., but at the end of the day, I remember there was individuals Jay-Z tried to help get out that was there for marijuana, pushing, a ton of marijuana. And now you have legal men that say, hey, we could tax this now. Now they're all for it. And
Nah,
then,
it's always
society,
come
they
down to the
swing.
money.
It always did.
It's
So
another-
many
yeah,
times
it's
it was
another
like, I'm like,
revenue-
the philosophy
Yeah.
is it's a medical purpose and this and that.
It's another
And
stream of income for the government. The same with gambling. Gambling's illegal unless you go to OTB or the
Right.
state owns the casino.
I ain't gonna go too far into that.
Well, you could say this too, as far as that marijuana thing go. Like, is it more profitable to lock up the people and put them in jail over marijuana, or is it more profitable now to legalize it? Because they didn't just switch because they wanted to.
No,
it
it's
became
more
more
That's why
profitable.
they did it.
It became more profitable to legalize,
But it was
right?
profitable for a lot of people out of that demographic to feed their family too. So now when they say, yo, we could feed our family with this,
That's
that's
crazy.
when the trajectory
Well,
changes.
the-
like,
the-
it's good to do
The
this.
misconception for years was that
Let's
marijuana was the
invest in
gateway
stocks.
drug to everything else, which turned out
Yeah.
to be not to be true.
Hell no.
I mean,
'Cause I did
your
marijuana
average,
and chose
your
not to
average
do nothing
marijuana
else.
smoker does not do the hard drugs, does not do heroin,
No.
does not do
No.
cocaine, does not
No.
taking the pills.
Definitely
Marijuana
not.
smoker is your everyday person these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, my thing is smoking marijuana. What you gonna do? Sit at the stop sign waiting for it to turn green?
Okay.
It's the worst. That worst that's gonna happen.
I didn't think-
Okay.
You don't hear about
think
it.
of being a cop.
You don't hear about mass murders being committed by
No,
a guy.
no.
That's,
Smoke the blunt, went
that smoked
crazy.
the blunt, exactly.
Yeah, nah,
for real. But B.O., I always wanted to thank you, man. You always changed, the trajectory of my life. You know what I mean? By
Mine
starting
as well.
corporations
Mine
and
too.
showing me that there's different ways that you.
Well, now I've always
Fox Taxi was.
I've known you since you were a kid. I've always practiced what I preach.
Yeah.
I want to be that mentor. I want to be that role model. Whether
Yeah.
white, black, Spanish, Indian, it doesn't matter to me. You're coming to my office. You're a kid that's going down a wrong path. What can I do to get you to go off that path? Some people
Yeah.
you're not going to fix. We all get that. That's just
This is who they are.
It's not
The
100%.
people that you can reach.
But if you reach 1, 2, 3, 4 people, listen. I think I reached
Right.
both of you guys. You're both sitting here, both successful, and
it take finesse, though.
It-
You're not gonna listen to
it
anybody.
spreads from
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's a fact.
It might take a person with a chain before the youth will listen to it.
Yeah,
They're like,
it
yo,
could
I ain't
be,
listen.
could
He ain't
be.
gonna be no
It spreads
chain.
from there. It
It
spreads
take
from there.
finesse, some type of swag, but
Yeah.
you always had that, you know what I mean, and you always believed in
You
it.
came with
So-
genuine care and love, bro.
Well, that's
You
what you
can't-
have to come with.
we wouldn't be
Yeah.
here as comrades right here, ready to hold you down for
No, but
whatever
you can't
need.
come. Like
Right.
that's the issue with the government. The government is not coming to help people for the right reasons. They're coming because it's a moneymaker.
Right.
Whatever this
Right.
government puts the money into, it's somebody is benefiting from that, not the person on the receiving end
So,
of the
like
benefit.
you said,
Exactly.
we can't wait on the government. We got to do it ourselves. And I feel like there's somebody out there with great ideas that probably could implement more nutrients into the community, like the Amazon. That's why this nonprofit thing that you brought
Right.
up it's a great idea because at the end of the day, I feel like there's somebody out there.
What's that, my
even
bad?
to the even to the extent with the issuance of the marijuana licenses, the government is going to give marijuana licenses like 1 or 2 licenses to people that have marijuana convictions.
Yeah.
Well, where are the other 8 or 9 going? They're going
But-
to
but-
somebody connected to the system.
In addition to
the
that-
governor's friend or this politician's
Oh,
buddy.
definitely.
So we're
leaks
gonna
like
give.
that.
We're gonna give knowledge. We're gonna give you a license, but the other 9 licenses are gonna go to my friend.
Well, I actually probably could give a license, actually, because the other prerequisite to that is you had to have own a business.
Correct.
So now, how many people that was into the drugs actually had a legit business before that? Like that's where
Right.
you find a loophole in the system. They hope they find none. They don't want that type of competition with people
Right.
that actually been in competition with.
Well, I'm
things of
first
that
up.
nature
I'm
already.
first up for my
They
marijuana
don't-
license in June.
You see what I'm
I'm
saying?
first up. Yeah, I'm
And you know
already
what?
on. I'm
I
waiting.
think
I'm gonna be the one to.
State doesn't want to compete against a professional hustler.
Nah, they don't.
Also this too, guys. Also this, because you know I'm here with those tips and hints. If you have been convicted of a marijuana crime, right? We're not talking whichever level, whatever level. If you have a marijuana conviction, you are the most eligible person to receive a marijuana license or certification to be able to redistribute marijuana. If you did not know that, you know that now. If you need some help with that, get in touch with me because I'm already loopy and I'm trying to help y'all out, man. And I don't want nothing for it. I just really want to help y'all out, man. Let's get it together.
The purpose of tonight's show is to provide a little motivation, incentive for people out there to know that there is a way out of your environment. There are
And our
avenues out there.
responsibility.
There are mentors. And it's actually a responsibility to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have, no matter what your age is, you don't have to sit back and say, I'm defeated, I can't get out of here, I can't do it. There are people that graduate college at 60, 70 years old. Get the motivation. You could do it.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Agreed.
And y'all can't call up.
You can call up.
It's okay to call. I heard somebody calling and they hang up.
Don't be afraid to call.
Don't be nervous.
631-833-0000.
And-
We will take your calls, answer your questions.
They all tickle and very intimidating, but they down to earth people.
You know, and
I think we should get some calls because I want to know where everybody out there what they think that their responsibility to our communities and our neighborhoods are. Like,
that's
let's get some calls like based on that. We got some watchers, we got some viewers. Y'all, come on, call up 631-833-0000. 631-833-0000.
Somebody to come as
And
maybe a street cat that just says maybe we gotta
Yeah.
peep them out.
the one thing with New York, because we're filming from New York tonight, New York has the highest welfare expenditure per capita.
Wow.
The highest in the country. And what are we doing wrong here in New York? We have some brilliant people here.
Right.
Why do we have the highest in the country in New York?
Well, I believe as far as that goes, is because people would rather sit back and receive governmental assistance
But where does that mentality come from?
from the generation before it. What do you mean?
But
It's
how do
generational
we break
thinking.
that cycle? How do we break that? And
Show them
and
different.
just statistically
You got to show them different. Right.
And you can say that it's a minority thing. 43% of white people receive welfare in this country. So it's not a black, white,
No,
Spanish.
no, it's economic.
The mentality.
But you know the white population is by far higher than the black population.
We got-
I really say 43%.
You're live on Street Legal.
Hey, B.O.B.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? It's me, Walter Fields, man. You helped me out back in the day.
Walter, how are you? Welcome to Street Legal, buddy. How we been?
Yeah.
I did good. I'm sitting here watching you guys, and I'm highly like excited for what you guys got going on. And B.O.B., you helped me in so many ways back in the day that I can't even begin to thank you. So
Well, Walter, listen, I appreciate it because I like you said, I do this from the heart. I really do, and whether it helps everybody or not, but I do try to make an impact in anybody's life that I touch and get them out of the system. Even though it benefits me for them to be in the system, I don't want my clients coming back and back and back. I want you to go out, do well, and raise your family and live your life, not give me your money.
We're gonna be all right regardless. We can fix this.
I'm gonna be all right.
Right.
so many days I got a quick record. I got my personal life, a company.
We kind of got a bad connection, Walt. Just call back in 1 minute. We got a little bad connection, okay?
You call back on me.
That's Walter Fields, a longtime client, friend. Like he said, he overcome adverse situations and a little help and advice from Bob Macedonio. Not that it helps. A little ad in there. This is what we do. But what else, Knowledge? What else can people do to get themselves out of these situations, not rely upon the government? Because the government, the government is not going to do it.
I think we starting it up. You know what I mean? We teaching people that they can go into business for themselves. They can see where the money is at and then begin to invest in where the money is at and probably we kind of the best in cutthroat. Like, you know, I could picture somebody from the streets of where I grew up at, you know what I mean, actually saying, how much you want to drop that load off? I do it for $100 cheaper.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
cutthroat.
come bring
That's
it. I'm
cutthroat.
come bring it to you, actually,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
do it themselves. So there's different avenues to get money. You know, you just gotta see. You gotta teach people how to see where the money's at. There's money all
Right.
around us. They created this all around money,
Yeah.
but we wasn't taught to see where the money at. I mean, a lot of us kind of want to be rappers, and the rappers kind of want to be niggas that's locked up.
Because
Right.
you see,
Right,
you
it's
see
crazy.
the rappers at the top of the game
Yeah.
what the money is. But for every 50 Cent out there, there's 40 people that didn't make it.
More than
Or
that.
100 people.
More than that, yeah.
1,000 people
You
didn't
know,
make
in
it.
addition
Way
to
more.
that, what's
Way more.
crazy is those rappers also, they want to be locked up. Like, they just locked up Young Thug and Thug into federal indictments.
Yeah.
They get this money and they never change their environment, and the environment takes them down. So it's still bigger than money. You got to change the environment.
You
I
gotta change the
understand.
environment.
Because they could have taught so many people in their crew not to be locked up.
Instead,
Man.
they
You got
built bricks and.
millions.
I don't want to say what they did or
Well,
pass
the money
judgment.
doesn't change the person.
But they
It don't.
put
You
their
gotta
names on
change
his
it.
head.
You gotta
You know what I
change
mean?
it.
And I was
So
like,
if you
you
don't
don't put them
change
on to
it,
that,
you
bro.
don't-
Yeah, you got to separate from that, and
there's
whoever
no
don't want to grow
reason
with
why-
you, you got to leave them where they at.
Right, there's no reason why a millionaire, you know what I mean, that already
Yeah.
got all this established, you know what I mean, should want to be locked up with federal indictment for bringing street people around.
Nah,
You see what I'm saying?
nah.
Yeah, but but like you guys know better than me, it's hard to leave that environment sometimes. You grow up with these people from the time you're 4, 5, 6 years old. You hit it, you know, they're gonna hold
Change
on.
them.
They're gonna hold on.
Nah, I changed them. They can't change me.
Right.
There's only two things that happen. Either I'm gonna act like you gonna act like me. I
That's
got the
it.
means, you gonna act like me. Or you
Yeah,
gonna be exiled from my circumference.
Yeah, and you think
Yeah,
about
money,
this,
man.
Those two things he talked about take place on two different plateaus, right? So this is you when you start with your mans,
Yep.
right? Depending on what opportunities you take advantage of or don't, you could do this, right? And
They gotta grow with you.
this puts you
Yeah.
in a different bracket for new opportunities, right? Because you done elevated past what you was in. So now you here. Now you're networking with different people, right? And so now you here. But if you notice, your mans didn't leave from here. So there's two choices you can make.
They gotta
right?
grow with you.
To communicate with them, right? Either you like give them the jewels they need to come up here, which most of them don't just do that because it's not that easy, right? Like
Correct.
anybody who's ever done it knows it's not that easy. Or you can come back here. And any fool that decides to do that is just a fool because you can't even serve the benefit nobody from coming back to that
See
point.
what I'm
But
saying?
a
You'll
lot-
never see fit for one of them end up in that situation like that.
Right.
And they have opportunities where people actually
Right.
do come up from the streets and say, "Yo, listen, man, this is
Yeah,
different
but you-
fruits from the label over here, or this
Right.
different fruits from the label over there."
Early
that you
on,
see.
early
Right.
on in the rap game, it's hard to get out of that until you get to a certain level and you realize this is gonna
Like, this is
lose me
crazy.
my career.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost me money.
Right.
Because early in the rap game, it was a war zone.
It's
Yeah.
serious.
You know that.
I don't
Right.
even think they remember. I don't think they know that there's real hip hop police, man.
They-
I was
yeah,
around
bro.
them, you know what I mean? And hip hop police followed me home. Not even, I'm part of self. Not follow me home, but follow me after the club. I ain't had no hammers on me. There's no reason to follow me. Just to ask me who I was, you know what I mean? To put me in a loop or
Right,
part of the
yeah,
investigation.
categorize you
And how
in
they
it,
really work.
yeah.
And that was New York. So now a lot of the rappers in Atlanta, they failing to realize like Atlanta got a whole nother hip hop police
Right.
down there that's investigating individuals down there. That's why YF and Lucci
Right.
got caught up in federal indictments. They getting money down there. They gonna follow the money and try to they gonna try to disrupt that right there. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Because I think a lot of it, if the money comes too quick, you have to have people at that level to help advise you. That's the problem. If you hand a kid in these neighborhoods $1 million, they don't know what to do with it.
That's true.
Okay, they don't know what to do with it.
No advisors.
So you need to get that level of advisors. You get to start early with the mentoring program.
And that's why
We're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
That's why we're
You
here.
brought it full
That's why we're
circle,
here.
man. You
Yeah.
brought it full circle.
Again.
That one right there.
Because the money doesn't make the man. Remember that.
Right. Knowledge.
Peace.
Bob and myself are starting the mentoring program where you can come and learn how to get your LLC done. You can come and learn how to start your
Nonprofit.
501c3
Yep.
nonprofit.
Listen, you need help applying to colleges, looking at schools. You know, we're here. You
You
know,
want to know how law office works?
You wanna know how an
take
office
a tour?
works?
You know, just get in contact with us, man. 631-833-0000. We're here to change lives. We're not really here to like. This ain't for clout. This is a real thing.
this is street legal. We're a movement. We are going to change this society. Okay.
That's a fact.
Even if it's one person at a time. So we
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
you
that's
know, we're
right.
out of time tonight, but I appreciate everybody. We have a, next week we're off on the 17th. We'll be back on the 24th with a special guest. We have coming in from Harold Bush, a senior member of the JDP team of Suffolk County Courts. Harold will be coming in discussing JDP and how that system works, which is a judicial diversion program.
Right.
So Harold, a very knowledgeable, good friend, and we look forward to having Harold on the 24th that night. And again, everybody, I appreciate you. Street Legal. We're
Peace,
here for
everybody.
you.
Have a good night, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Top of the A, top of the day, top of the kings. And not to brag, the chain's expensive, a lot for the ring. Been through a lot, even had the cop a squat in the bing. But that's okay, cause I came home and I hopped in that thing. And dead or alive, that's just the way the streets leave you. It's the difference between the streets and street legal.